Happy Monday, Bird Gang, coming up on today's Philadelphia Eagles Now. What's up with all of this Derrick Henry Eagles buzz? Could Philadelphia draft Jaxon Smith-Njigba with pick number 10 in Thursday's NFL Draft? We'll also get to the latest buzz around Bijan Robinson. Before we begin, though, make sure you subscribe to our main Chat Sports YouTube channel. Under the Chat Sports umbrella, we've been crushing it here at the company, and we have millions and millions of subscribers company-wide, including a lot on our main Chat Sports YouTube channel, kind of closing in on 500,000 subs, and because of that, we're going to net a massive audience, the most watched NFL draft coverage on YouTube on Thursday night for the first round. It all begins 6 o'clock Eastern, so make sure you subscribe, youtube.com/chatsportstv. Now, us here on Philadelphia Eagles Now, myself, Chase Sr., Trizzy Trace, we'll be going live for the entire first round on Eagles Now. But of course, if you want some overall draft content, they're going to crush it there on Chat Sports. Some of the co-workers really going to be bringing the heat. Today's show is all made possible, too, thanks to our friends at Rhone. I am wearing their commuter shirt, and as part of their commuter collection, it gets you ready for any occasion. A lot of these draftees throughout this upcoming weekend going to be walking across the stage looking fresh. If you want to look fresh, Rhone is really where it's at. 20% off for the Fly Eagles Fly family if you use that code ChatSports at the bottom of your screen by visiting the link, Rhone.com/chatsports. Men's closets were due for a radical reinvention. Rhone stepped up to the challenge. The commuter collection, most comfortable, breathable, flexible set of products known to man. They have products for every occasion. Hosting shows here at Chat Sports, looking spiffy on air. You can hit the golf course, night out in the town, go on a date, whatever you want. Helps you get ready for literally anything that you do in life. The commuter collection includes the world's most comfortable pants, dress shirts, quarter zips, and polos, and you never have to worry about what to wear, so it eliminates all the anxiety that comes with scanning through your closet. Looking good is easy, and it's time to feel confident without the hassle. Wrinkle release technology allows you to save money because you don't have to go to the dry cleaner any longer. The more that you wear these products, the less wrinkles that appear because of that stretchable fabric. It's RHONE.com/chatsports. Promo code chatsports to save 20% off your entire order. Going to put that link in the comment section and in the description of this video. Now, I did touch on this back the other day on Saturday on our YouTube Shorts page. It's just another form of content, basically TikTok-style 1-minute videos. I was out doing some grocery shopping, and I had to talk about these Derrick Henry to the Philadelphia Eagles rumors, and it all started with this tweet. Very late, heading into Saturday, from Akbar Kabaja-Biamila. Used to play in the National Football League. Now he is a host for Ninja Warrior, which is pretty interesting. He said, breaking, move out the way. Derrick Henry is headed to the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, Akbar Kabaja-Biamila doesn't have a history of breaking news, but why there are some ties here, he shares the same agency, CAA, very powerful agency in the sports and entertainment business that Derrick Henry also has. And A.J. Brown, his former teammate for Derrick Henry at the Tennessee Titans, did tweet this: nobody has number 22 on this Eagles roster. It used to be occupied by Marcus Epps. And then he went on to say, make it happen if it's possible. Is it possible? Is it a thing? Are the Philadelphia Eagles working on a splash trade to land one of the best running backs in the history of the National Football League? Well, Akbar Kabaja-Biamila doesn't really break NFL news. Jay Glazer does, and he took a question from one of his Twitter followers over the weekend. It was from a man named Kenneth, and now he's getting a lot of publicity. Shout out to Kenneth. He said, Jay, what's with this Derrick Henry to the Eagles rumor? Is it real, or can you squash it? Glazer said, nope, at least not at this point. It's not. Rand Carthen, Titans general manager, also said no team has called about a Derrick Henry trade, and he basically squashed it as well. Now, what I said on the YouTube short, and these are really my overall thoughts on this, Derrick Henry to the Philadelphia Eagles never made any semblance of sense for a couple of reasons. Derrick Henry isn't a scheme fit. He's not an RPO back, and while he'd be running behind the best offensive line in football, making that ground game lethal, aside from Jalen Hurts, he is best when he is running downhill with the quarterback under center, because it allows him to get a few steps and more momentum as he gets the carry toward the line of scrimmage. It's kind of like when DeMarco Murray went from the Dallas Cowboys to the Philadelphia Eagles. With the Cowboys, he was a great scheme fit. With the Eagles, though, in Chip Kelly's RPO shotgun-heavy scheme, DeMarco Murray had to stay put in the backfield like this and then take that step back and get the carry. When the quarterback is under center, you're moving toward the line of scrimmage with a lot of momentum. So that's the scheme fit part of this. How about the financial part? Derrick Henry in the final year of his deal, outside of some of those void years that are included in the contract, set to make a base salary of $10.5 million. But if you draft Bijan Robinson at number 10, in that number 10 draft slot, Bijan Robinson would make $4 million. So Derrick Henry to the Eagles didn't make any sense, especially when you consider that Bijan Robinson is the younger back, the better scheme fit, more versatile, doesn't have as much tread on the tires, and he's a lot less expensive than Derrick Henry. Now, of course, Derrick Henry has put together a future Hall of Fame career. Like I said, he's one of the best running backs in the history of this game. Even though he's 29 years old, he hasn't really shown many signs of aging. He was injured in 2021 with that foot injury, but shoot, a year before that, more than 2,000 yards. In 2019, 1,500 yards. You do worry, as he approaches 30 years of age, how the workload is going to catch up to him, because 303 carries, 378, even 8 games played, he still had 219 carries. In 8 games, still 900-plus yards. He was on pace to maybe have another 2,000-yard season. Doing that back-to-back is absurd. And then last year, 16 games played, still had 4.5 yards per carry, ran for 1,500-plus yards and 13 touchdowns. He's really good. It just doesn't make sense for Philadelphia. And like Jay Glazer said, nothing has been talked about, at least as of yet. So I do want to gauge where our subscribers are at and where you're all at here, where Eagles fans really stand on this issue. I wouldn't do it, especially if you have to include pick number 30, a first-round pick for a 29-year-old running back. It would be an all-in Howie Roseman move with him being in the final year of his deal, but I'm out on it. So I'm going to type my P for Pats. If you disagree with me, type your T for trade. As you venture down to the comment section, another reminder to subscribe, because here on Eagles Now on Thursday, we're going live for the entire first round. Probably going to go live prior to the first round beginning, about a half hour before that. We have Super Chat giveaways, Super Chat games, and when all these draft picks happen, we're going to react to them outside of course, the Philadelphia Eagles picks when we go even more in-depth with some of the best analysis on these draftees. Go Birds, subscribe to the show. It's Philadelphia Eagles Now. Story number 2 on this fine Monday. Hope you all had a great weekend, by the way. Could the Eagles draft Jaxon Smith-Njigba, who I think is the number 1 wide receiver in this 2023 draft class, even though he barely played last year for Ohio State? Tony Pauline, Pro Football Network, saying that the Eagles have been gathering their intel on taking JSN with the 10th overall pick. Here's what Tony Pauline had to say. Then we'll take a look at the numbers, and I'll offer some more thoughts here. The Philadelphia Eagles making a late push on the wideout and doing a lot of work on him in recent days. Secondly, Smith-Njiba is definitely part of the conversation for the Jets, who just traded for Aaron Rodgers. That deal now official at number 13 if the offensive tackles are off the board. I was told outright that the Jets are absolutely considering him with that pick. Both bits of news surprised me, yet I was able to confirm each of them. So, are the Eagles going to draft Jaxon Smith-Njigba? I doubt it. I wouldn't be surprised, though. This is why when I was in Key West, I pre-filmed the video like 3 weeks ago, and I talked about this. Would not shock me if Howie Roseman took Jaxon Smith-Njigba at number 10, because the Eagles, I've been talking about this all off season, need to upgrade wide receiver 3. You have one of the best wide receiver duos in the NFL with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, and both of them offer you a semblance of skills that are incredibly unique. You put Jaxon Smith-Njigba into the fold, operating out of that slot wide receiver position, he's going to be matched up against some bad nickel corners, some slower linebackers, and considering how slippery and good his footwork is, how good he is in the open field, and his ability to pick up yards after the catch, that gives Jalen Hurts yet another cost-controlled weapon over the next 4 to 5 years. And Jaxon Smith-Njigba, injury concerns aside, is the number 1 wide receiver in this draft class. He is a spectacular player who has excelled to great degrees of success while at Ohio State. Had a pretty good NFL scouting combine, a pretty good pro day as well with the Buckeyes. And in 2021, last time he played a full season, as I said, injury is a little bit of a concern. He popped off. I mean, in 13 games to have 95 catches, I understand it's a pass-happy, spread-out offense, but my goodness, that's absurd production. More than 1,600 yards, 9 touchdowns, and then what he did that year in the Rose Bowl against Utah, these are video game numbers. I know a lot of you like to hop on the sticks, play a little bit of Madden. These are the types of numbers that when you do my player and you make your player in Madden and then you put the level to like a low level, right, in terms of the competition, these are the numbers that you produce. 15 catches in that game against Utah in Southern California for 346 yards and 3 touchdowns. That right there, absolutely insane. So we're about to talk about Bijan Robinson. 2 sexy offensive weapons could be available for the Eagles on the board at number 10. Pick one to draft here. You going Bijan or you going Jaxon Smith-Njigba? BR for Bijan, JSN for the Ohio State product. Let's get to this tweet from James Palmer, NFL Network, hashtag Philly guy, by the way. He said, I'll just say this. Couple of NFC teams I talked to this weekend do not want the Eagles to draft Bijan Robinson. The thought of that offense with his addition is scary in their eyes. Here's more from James Palmer. This is outside of the box for the Eagles, but when I talked to several teams over the weekend in the NFC, I'll tell you this, they do not want the Eagles to draft Bijan out of Texas. They believe that would make this offense beyond scary. You saw the contract extension for Jalen Hurts, the press conference with Jalen Hurts today. Perhaps this takes some of the carries off of his workload, which is really smart, with Bijan stepping in and probably being the number 1 back right away. Running back is a need for the Eagles in this draft. They did get Rashad Penny, who's had issues staying healthy. They do really like Kenneth Gainwell, but there are a lot of people around the league that believe this pick would change this offense. This is why I've talked about this over the last several weeks. This is why I've harped on Howie Roseman just getting rid of the draft philosophy and getting down to the smart aspect of this pick. Draft Bijan Robinson at number 10. It makes too much sense. Number 1, you have a need for a running back because Miles Sanders had more than 300 touches last year. You don't have that returning. Number 2, excellent scheme fit. Number 3, he could have a Christian McCaffrey-like impact on your offense, catching the ball on wheels and screens out of the backfield, lining up as a slot wide receiver. You put him in the backfield with Jalen Hurts, running that RPO. What are defenses going to do? Is Hurts going to pull it and run? Is he going to hand it off to Bijan Robinson? Could you operate an action out of that type of play where Hurts decides to keep it? He boots right, throws it to somebody else. Could Bijan run a route off of that motion? There are so many different things that you can do, and to have a weapon of his caliber, who I believe is a transcendent talent, under team control for the next 4 or 5 years, and this year on a base salary of $4 million, it seems like a no-brainer. Howie Roseman said the other day, we want to pick a unique player, not a specific position. Bijan Robinson is one of the most unique players in this draft class, and I think he's the top 3 player in this draft class. So if you're going best player available, and he's a top 3 guy on your board, and he slides to number 10, pick Bijan Robinson. It could be fireworks at Lincoln Financial Field in the midnight green. The big rumor, though, that's starting to pick up some momentum, Atlanta Falcons taking him at number 8. And you know if that happens, they're going to give him the rock like 300 times, whereas Philadelphia probably has more of a dual approach in the backfield with him, Kenneth Gainwell, Boston Scott, and Rashad Penny. So I'm all about this. I'm on the Bijan train. And this is coming from a guy who has said for years, do not draft running backs in the first round. But how often is a team that makes it to the Super Bowl drafting inside the top 10? Exactly. And they don't have a lot of needs. Running back is one of them. So give me a Bijan down in the comment section. You see what I did there? The real ones know. Thanks for watching the show. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll catch you next time. Another reminder, live for the first round of the NFL Draft on Thursday right here on Eagles Now.